Just trying to loosen everybody up before the match. Okay, everybody, championship match here. Casey Murphy taking on Kyle Sherman. Kyle Sherman has been the talk of the tournament. He's had a big lead since the first ball he threw. Jeff Richgels here in the booth with myself, and Matt Turek is producing. We're looking forward to calling the finals here. 2 seed versus the 1 seed. Almost makes it seem like the stepladder, all that stuff is just, just for going through the motions.
That was a lot of games to get to the 1 versus 2.
Casey Murphy, no stranger to this tournament. He won back in 2014. He's looking to be the first person to win the tournament twice. And here's a look at Kyle Sherman. I want to call him young Kyle Sherman because I've been watching him bowl ever since he's been about 13 years old. And, Jeff, you have a story that after the shot that you can tell you had a chance to meet Kyle at a very young age. But let's take a look at Kyle's game. He's an Ebonite staff member. He's actually with the Track brand. And he goes to Lindenwood University. Was an All-American there.
Throws it so sweet.
He's throwing the Track Cyborg. Same ball that we just saw Brandon Steen use. So tell that story, Jeff.
Well, at your very first InsideBowling.com Open, the bowling center had Guardian. I can't remember the name because I'm not a St. Louis guy.
Crest Bowl.
That's it. Had Guardian, and that was quite a tournament. And I got to cross with Kyle, and I had no idea who he was. And, he's got this kid. He was, I don't know, 15 then, 16, 15. And he threw a few shots, and I was like, whoa, this boy throws it sweet. And then I was asking a few, and then Randy Lightfoot was there, and he was filling me in a little bit. And I'm not surprised that he's developed into the bowler he has. And he just throws it fantastic. That swing and that release is so, man. If you want to teach somebody how to bowl one-handed, that's the way you teach them right there.
The wild thing is he used a hammer, a black hammer in qualifying to go 300, I believe, in 30 over. And now today he's using reactive and playing a different part of the lane. Just shows how versatile he is. But speaking of versatile, Casey Murphy, he's done a lot. And, he's been here before. He's won this tournament before, the Fusion Realtors Community First National Bank Open. Let's see what he does here. Frame number 2, see if he can square up the match. And he does. Hey, Jeff, this tournament wouldn't be possible without some of the great sponsors. I'd like to go over them now. Fusion Realtors, of course, Community First National Bank, Ebonite, with a big day coming out this Tuesday, the new Mission Unknown, Waterloo Convention and Visitors Bureau, Kingpin Bar and Grill, Maple Lanes, Budweiser, Logo Infusion. They got a coupon code GIBA SCP16. You can save 10% over at logoinfusion.com. And, of course, the Isle Hotel and Casino, where both you and I and Matt frequent every time we come to town.
Yeah, I supported the sponsors there last night, yesterday, Susie and I. Good shot. Rolled it nice. This pair looks pretty friendly.
Yeah, and this just goes to show why these two guys are the 1 and the 2 seeds. 5 for 5 on strikes. And you're not seeing any urethane or just trying to keep the ball in play. These guys are lined up and they're striking.
I just find it amazing to think he shot 300 over throwing urethane yesterday. That's just 140 more than anyone else did in the field. It's just impressive. Sure, he's going to be seen on the PBA Tour when he's done with college. Got a hook. Oof. Does, but he leaves the 10 on the board. And, of course, I'm sure anybody that follows bowling closely knows Kyle is his girlfriend, if it's still.
It is.
I think it is.
Amanda Green.
Amanda Green, who I wrote a big story about the PBA Tour, or PWBA Tour this summer when I saw everybody up in Green Bay. I went up there for their major and some of the TV tapings and interviewed several of the women about how they fit the tour into their lives. And Amanda's one of the bright young stars for the women's tour and has a title. And I know she and Kyle kind of have the long distance thing going, and they bowled together in the Lucy doubles recently. Potential future maybe power couple to compete with Marshall Kent and Daniel McEwen.
Yeah, not only are they both great bowlers, but they are both great people. They both come from great families, great upbringing. Of course, Amanda and her folks, and I happen to know Dennis and Tracy Sherman back in St. Louis, and longtime bowlers themselves, decorated local careers, and it's awesome to see Kyle come out from such a great family, almost like a thoroughbred stable.
Yeah,
I think we talked about that earlier this weekend, Matt and I did.
Well, and Daniel, there's so many good young bowlers like Amanda and Daniel out on the PWBA tour. They're personable and friendly and athletic and throw it great, and they're the future. Well, got the blower 10 on a good shot, throws a bad shot, and catches the Brooklyn.
That's what you call cutting it a little short, not getting through it pretty good. It gets a break. That's what you need. You need breaks sometimes.
Did you see anybody the whole weekend as deep as Kyle is now, crossing left of 15, that had success?
A little bit, but not much. Not much at all.
Boy, I mean, there's no help on the lane where he's throwing it. Half 10.
Casey Murphy leaves the half 10, so I always like to look at max scores. I don't like somebody to take a lead in the match and then they lose a lead in the match sitting down, but possible 279, 279. Casey's an excellent spare shooter. I'll tell you something else about Casey Murphy. He bowled the first IB Open, and he actually called me after the tournament was over on his drive home and said, hey, Mike, I really got to thinking about what you said, and I completely understood what you were talking about wanting to grow the tournament, what you want it to be, and I just wanted to commend you and applaud you for your efforts, and I wish you all the success, and I'll help you however I can. And that meant a lot to me. I actually broke down in tears at Outback Steakhouse. It was unbelievable because there was just so much that went into that first event. People said it couldn't be done, and when he called me and said he got what we said in the bar that day when I addressed the players, it meant the world to me.
It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that tournament. It was right at the end of where I was a semi-competitive bowler with these younger guys here, and it's fascinating to me as somebody who's in my mid-50s now and came up in the era when the PBA was everything, how the world was basically the tour and regionals were huge, and then there was the megabucks, and there weren't really the IB Open, the New Mexico Open, the Fusion, the 11thframe.com Open, and there's many on the East Coast and down in Texas and out west. The non-PBA, non-megabucks, just good, solid tournaments that are kind of similar to regionals back in the day, and they've kind of replaced what regionals were. Boy, that one a little bit short again, and he 310s as it hooked right away.
Ball hooked in like 3 different spots, it seemed like to me.
I mean, he's literally, Casey's playing where there is a tiny amount of help, perhaps, if you look at the pattern. Where Kyle's playing, there is nothing to help you. And that doesn't mean he doesn't have a look. I mean, he hit the pocket the first 3 shots, but boy, he's really got to make a great shot. And this, folks, is not an easy spare on this condition. Just got to get, nope.
So an open frame for Sherman. Going back to look at the standings here. Kyle Sherman plus 284.
Yeah, he leads by 119 and shot under today.
Casey Murphy plus 165. The big mover today was Tom Adcock, who was eliminated in the bracket.
I believe there was a year in this tournament I was about 280 over and didn't make the top 10. One of the only time probably that there were some pretty high scores. That was a year when they used a longer, closer to a 3-to-1 pattern in the early years of the Fusion. They have been typically very hard the last few years. That's a good shot. Oh, and then that.
Oh, look at that.
Trips the 2-8.
That was a good shot off his hand.
Didn't return.
Yeah, the oil pattern and the bowling ball did not cooperate with how well that shot was thrown, but the carry gods did. So Casey Murphy here, he's just kind of, cool, calm, and collected, doing his thing. He's won this before, been here before, and he's ready to do his thing and hopefully take home the second Fusion Realtors Open that he can put in his trophy case.
That was nice. Ooh. You know how many of those 10s he's just dug out today in these couple of games he's been up here?
Yeah, and it's all entry angle because of the part of the lane that he's playing. I feel like he's playing what used to be called necessarily the tube. He's playing the tube area, just a little bit of a belly to that ball, and if he gets a little bit out towards the right, he's got a chance, and if he tugs a little bit in, he's got just, as you said, just a little bit of potential room where he's playing on the lane. He's got a bowling ball that's matched up perfectly for him. Just keeping it right on line in play.
And his heavy roll has kind of taken away the squirt 210 reaction a lot of people have had this weekend. Oh, that was left, but whoa!
He's had a couple of shots that he's actually got in just a little bit.
Yeah,
take a look at that replay.
To me, that was definitely left.
Here's Sherman now. He's in a position now where he's
got to strike.
Yeah, he's got to throw some strikes. And he does. You cannot throw it better than that. That ball just ran right over the rack. Take a look at this again. Look at this bowling ball come off the spot and just run him over.
See, he's basically getting the ball at, 40 or 45 feet. About where Casey's getting it, but he's going at such an angle to get it there. He's really got to be perfect, and his rev rate is high, and I mean he's just got to be so clean with it to get it to that spot and return. And Casey's got just a little bit of wiggle room there from the lane helping him.
Kyle Sherman does a lot of bowling on the weekends. Travels with Brad Miller. Pretty good.
Oof, man.
What I liked about that shot is as that bowling ball went into the pins, that's what these reactive balls will do as opposed to a urethane ball. That ball was actually kind of going towards the right at the head pin instead of driving in, and it's still the pins didn't have a chance. And that's the difference between reactive and urethane. Both players here in the championship match, who would have guessed it, they're using reactive resin bowling balls. One a strong ball, one a weaker ball. Two different parts of the lane.
I mean, I got to say that their feet are 15 or more boards different. And their laydown is the same.
And that's credit to this oil pattern that was created. Multiple angles, lefties, righties, anywhere you want to play. And Casey Murphy says, I got a little area I like to play.
I think it's going to turn out here, unless something bizarre happens, that I think the bad break for Kyle is that this pair is so friendly for Casey. And from the out. Maybe put this on 5 and 6 or something, 17, 18, 15, and 16, where we saw some really tough reaction out where Casey's playing. Who knows what happens? Certainly not a game that's looking like it. Ooh, that was left. Wow. He knew that, too. He'll take a 4-pin there.
Okay,
Holy
so
mackerel.
max score now for Murphy, 258. And Kyle Sherman can strike out for 247. And if you were watching an hour and a half ago, 203 was amazing.
Chad Nelson shot 593, winning 3 matches. So basically, it's real simple. Kyle Sherman has to strike out here, and he forces a mark for Casey Murphy.
Is it going to hook? Oh, what a shot. Whew. Gave that one a little extra room there.
Wow.
You can see it right here on the replay. Look at that.
Yep.
Little extra room, ball recovers.
But it was rolled sweet. Well,
if Kyle actually strikes out, he'll force Casey to throw 2 marks.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
9 spare strike tie.
Yes, or strike 9 spare, win by a pin. Yeah,
Yeah.
You're correct. Yeah, 9 spare 9 would be a loss, actually. This one forces him to mark, basically. It's as quiet as we've seen it in here.
I didn't even want to talk right
That's, boy, you cannot throw it better.
there. Kudos to
there.
Kyle Sherman for sticking to his game plan here. You know?
Yep.
To know and recognize that what brought him to the dance all day yesterday, he needed to do something different, and he's bowling a respectable score here, and he's going to make Casey Murphy show up in the 10th frame after only missing twice. It's not over yet.
So basically, a 9 spare here is 236. A 9 out for Casey would be 236. So
All right, here we go. Second shot in the 10th frame, Kyle Sherman. Looking to apply a little pressure here. Is it going to hold?
nope. And now the count is huge there because that really takes it off of Casey. I mean, basically, Casey just has to avoid this. Count was a killer there. Ouch.
That just goes to show the 5-bagger that Sherman fired off starting in the 6th frame,
Yep.
how good of shots those really were.
I mean, there just is no forgiveness in there. You just got to throw it so good.
He's going to take a minute, too. He's going to think about how he's going to shoot this.
Here's what you look at. You make this spare, you got 233. You're probably dead in the water, but Casey has a spare up. He could go the same thing. He goes 6 count on this, then we're in the same boat. We're looking like 6 spare here's 33, 6-3. I think if my quick math is right, is 33. So yeah, this is important to make this. At least it gives him a slim chance. Three. So that basically, don't read church, don't huge washout, don't hit your ankle, and you're fine.
232 on a 1.7 to 1, 28
Boy.
milliliters, 36-foot pattern.
That's a hell of a game.
That's a really good game.
If it's a loser, that's tough.
Brandon Steen just bowled 232, and it wasn't enough against Casey Murphy. He's in the tube.
Oh, wow. Okay, this is technically it's not over. He needs a pin. Ooh, boy, that could have been a 3, 4, 6, 7, 10 or something. Almost a disaster.
Now, Casey Murphy's an extremely good spare shooter. And Casey Murphy is your 2016 September version of the Fusion Realtors Community First National Bank Open. He is the champion, and he is now the first person in the 10th anniversary here of this tournament to win twice.
Yes, indeed. Very impressive. Got a feel for Kyle, boy. 232, you'd have figured. If you'd have said to any bowler in this field, title match, take 232, any match, take 232, you'd be counting on a winner.
The good news is, in this event, the money is spread more evenly, so $2,700 for first place, $2,000 for second. Congratulations to Casey Murphy. In just a minute, we're going to...
Had a great time. Thanks for having me, Mike.
All right, here with Joe Engelkist, tournament director, and Casey Murphy. Casey took home the title today. I'm going to hand things over to Joe to talk to Casey and give him the check and the money. Looks like he already has.
Yeah, I already gave you the check and the money, Casey, but congratulations on being the only two-time champion now of the Fusion Realtors Community First National Bank Open. Quite a performance on a very difficult shot. You made them look awful easy in that final match. Was that the same ball you threw the other time you won? It sure looks similar.
Actually, it's a pretty similar philosophy. I threw a higher RG, high road pearl, and then I threw a match pearl this time. It's very similar. They're very similar philosophies. So I have to throw a lot of that low-end stuff all the time because my roll is so heavy, and it works out really good. I match up really well to the surface. So.
Yeah, great bowling, no matter what. Appreciate you guys coming up. I know you got a long drive always, so certainly like to have you guys come and join us. It's a great deal for us.
Well, it's a really hard to find a really great tournament, and I know every time the Fusion comes up on the calendar, I've got to go bowl that. I don't care. I know it's a long ways away, but I know it's a great run tournament by a great staff and a great center, so it's a can't miss.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate that, Casey.